How do you plan to win back moderates and independents who cast a ballot for you in 2020, but polls indicate aren't happy with the way you're doing your job now?
I don't believe the polls.
And his polls are so bad, they are hard to believe. In fact, no doubt. A new one shows a whopping 70% of people do not want to see President Biden run again in 2024. And just as bad, only 48% of Democrats want to see the president seek re-election. And his job disapproval, not good. 56%. A lot more people disapprove than approve of him. Power panel now, Sean Duffy, Fox News contributor, former Wisconsin congressman as well, and Leslie Marshall, Fox News contributor. So, Leslie, I saw you tweeting about the show, and you're coming up, so I know you're ready for this. and I know you said, oh, there's so much time, 291 days between now and November 8th, helping you out there. Any other ideas for how Biden's going to turn this around other than just waiting it out?
Well, I don't think he's waiting it out. Certainly, there are things he can't control, like what happens with COVID and what the headlines are about COVID and the American public's feeling on that. But certainly, if you look at history, and I'm going to look at my own party, we've seen really bad poll numbers for former Presidents Obama and Clinton. We saw a bloodbath of seats lost to Republicans in the House, and yet both were reelected. We also saw during President Trump's time, Democrats certainly not wanting him to run for reelection, and many Republicans that didn't want him to run for re-election. Now, I know some people may say that's not a good example because he was a one-term president. However, poll numbers do go up and down. Do I like them right now? Absolutely not. But 291 days is a lifetime.
You know what? You mentioned something in Barack Obama and Bill Clinton, former presidents. And I just want to point out that presidential news conference they did in their first calendar of office, 38 with Bill Clinton, 27 with Barack Obama. I mean, if there were ever a chance to turn things around, they were talking nonstop. This president got through 2 hours. We'll give him credit for that. But otherwise, what happened, Sean?
Yeah, I think it's a good point. If you want to drive your message to the American people, you actually have to talk to the American people, and especially when you have failures. And that Joe Biden won't actually sit down and speak with people in live covered events, I think, is troubling. But listen, I mean, Joe Biden doesn't want to recognize these poll numbers, Harris, because if he did recognize the poll numbers, he'd have to change course. I mean, his policies aren't working. I mean, again, on inflation, border, COVID, crime, I mean, everything is a disaster. And so I would hope that as my American president, I'm a Republican, but I want him to be successful, change course, help our people out, make things better. What you're doing is hurting us. You could make us better if you actually tried to work with Republicans. And just one last point on that. If you went to the center, I know Republicans would work with him. He's got this far left agenda and then complains that Republicans don't want to join him in this Marxist agenda. Well, they would join if he actually governed like he campaigned.
Well, you know, that messaging that you're talking about and the lack of seeing him, he just wrapped up a news conference a few minutes ago. It wasn't a news conference, but he had reporters around him. He said he's not going to take any more questions because you guys will ask me all about Russia. I mean, my goodness, get out the shovel and just dig deeper. Leslie, last few seconds go to you.
I would agree with Sean on one thing out of the two things he was just talking about. I do think that the president needs to get out there more. I think not only do you need to be seen more, you need to speak to the American people, but I do feel that he was very honest on the timing and the rollout of the testing for COVID in his 2-hour speech. In addition, though, Sean, you know I love you, but Republicans during the Obama years, Mitch McConnell clearly said it was his job and he was looking forward to obstructing and stopping and preventing everything that came down the pipe from the president and Democrats.
Right, and that is now the president has that from inside of his own party.
Right now, I'm hearing from people on both sides of the aisle that except for infrastructure, which you got to give Biden a ding, ding, ding on, except for infrastructure,
Sean and Leslie, thank you so very much. I don't mean to cut in, but I have to because we're 4 seconds away from the end of the show.